Hello and welcome to my channel Crafting with Shuttermonkey. I'm Amanda, also known as Shuttermonkey, and I live in Ayrshire on the west coast of Scotland. Today is Wednesday the 1st of May and this is episode number 42. If I have any links to share today, I will pop them in the description box below, just so that you can find anything that you're interested in easily yourself online. So let's just jump right into the knitting section. And I have one finished object to show you. And I've got two new cast-ons. Okay? I've got Kevin with me today, modelling a new sock design. And I'm showing you this in the knitting section rather than the knitting design sections, but just because I'm really pleased with it. So this is my Scrappy Patchwork Sock, and I'm going to be looking for testers for this, but we'll talk more about that later on, okay? And again, it's just using more leftovers, the same as the Unicorn Tails one, more leftovers from all the other socks. And I've got lots and lots of different stitch patterns in there, and lots of different colours as well. So I'm going to pop this away. Do you know, I haven't even woven in the ends inside yet. I don't know if you can see the wee bumps in there, but I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. Kevin does such a good job of modelling, doesn't he? But I really am. I'm pleased with how that turned out, and you'll be seeing that again. So I'll pop it away for now. That is all the finished items I've got to show you in the knitting section. And I've got two new cast-ons. So I'm going to show you one of them, and it's a sock. Wow. This is the Tunnocks colourway from For the Love of Yarn. And I actually bought this last October 2023, when I went to the Glasgow School of Yarn. The dyer didn't have any in stock when I actually went to the event in Glasgow. But I did come home and I ordered it online. But I really like it. I did buy two from the same dyer. I bought the Brew colourway, and you've seen that one before. I knitted those up for my husband. And this is me now doing the Tunnocks colourway. I did post a wee photograph on social media. I did post it on Instagram last week when I started my socks with a Tunnocks tea cake. But unfortunately today I don't have any tea cakes to show you because I've ate them all. Sorry. I'll get more tea cakes for next time, okay? Not because I want to eat them or anything, just so I can show you them. It's for research purposes, to show you how well it matches the yarn, okay? Not because I want to eat them. And again, when I'm doing these socks, it's my Scoosh toe up pattern I'm using, and I've put a broken rib onto the instep, and I'm doing that up the front of the leg, and the back of the leg I'm doing 2x2 rib, just because that's the best way to knit socks to fit my husband. I did these Brew ones like that. I had been experimenting for a wee while, trying to do a large foot and a medium leg because he's really slim ankles. But I found with the Brew ones, doing the 2x2 rib on the back of the leg and just keeping that broken rib going up the front of the leg, that worked really well, and they fit him quite nicely as well. So that's what I'm doing with these ones as well. Really do like that colourway. I'm trying to see if it looks different from one side to the other. There's a wee bit of colour pulling down here, the grey, but that's just because I've increased my stitches for the gusset. But once I get back onto the leg, you'll get this pattern here will appear back on the leg again. And that is one of my cast-ons. Oh, I'll just show you the cake. This is how it's looking on the cake. Quite a lot of that left over. And I'm using 2.25mm needles. That's the size I usually use for my 4-ply socks. And usually 2.25, unless I'm knitting with the West Yorkshire spinners, then I come up a needle size for that. And the final thing I'm going to show you in the knitting section is another new cast on. Let me get this over. And it's the Lanark sweater by the Crea Bear. Now, I'm knitting this for my husband. It doesn't look like much just now, does it? The sunshine's come back out. So this is the collar, and it's all worked in half fisherman's rib. And you work, the collar was actually double that height. This wee bit here, it was double that height. But you fold it back over on itself and you've got this nice double collar. Once you've joined your collar, you leave some of your stitches in a holder because this will go to the front of the collar. So it'll come round like this. And now I am working on the back. So I've cast on my stitches for the shoulders at the back, both sides. And there was a little bit of short row shaping just to increase the height, the middle of the back, just to increase that a wee bit. So now I just have to keep working until it's big enough for the armhole. So I'll come down the back, and once I get to where the armholes, where the whole body would join, I stop there in the back, and I'm going to come back and work the two fronts. But I've not done loads to this. I've only worked on it maybe 2 or 3 evenings. It does feel, it looks kind of really strange, doesn't it? It'll take more shape, I promise. That's the collar, and that's the back piece there, just with wee bits of scrap yarn holding it all together. I think it will fit as a collar. And that's all I've done so far. The yarn that I'm using to knit the Lanark sweater is this here. And it is Rowan Pure Wool DK, and I've just started my second ball. Now, I found this on a de-stash in eBay before Christmas, maybe last October, and the colourway is 003 and it's a dark grey colour. I don't think this is a current yarn, it's a discontinued yarn, but I did manage to find someone selling 14 balls on eBay, and I did snaffle it up with this cardigan in mind, with this jumper in mind, and finally that's me getting around to casting it on. I am also using, for this, I'm using my Lantern Moons. Hold on, I'm in a bit of a fankle here. They're on quite a long cable, but I will need that long cable once I get onto the backs and the fronts are joined, once I'm working in the round. Once you get down past the armholes for your front, your two fronts and your back, then you work in the round, you just keep going round and round. And I will need the longer cable then. I don't have a lot of cables for these needles because I've only recently just bought them, and it is the Lantern Moon, and it's 3.5s I'm using. They are really nice because they swivel round on that cable, and I've never had interchangeable needles like that will swivel round. I feel like your cable always gets twisted and knotted up and you have to try and straighten it out and twist your needles around, but because they swivel on the cables, it's really, really nice. I actually use these. I use these to do my test swatch as well on the big long cable. And see, when I went back to my Knit Pro needles, I thought, oh, I really don't like this cable. Just having tried them for one wee test swatch, I realised how much I liked them, because when I went back to those Knit Pros, I thought, I like that swivel cable. I'm going to go back and get more of those. I did buy these online from an online shop called the Ori Mill, and it's not far away from me. It's actually only about a 25-30 minute drive from me, and I have been to visit that wee shop since I last recorded an episode. They actually run knitting classes and crochet classes. You can sign up for a 4-week block, and I did that on a Wednesday evening, so I'm supposed to go tonight. That'll be my 3rd class. And I don't really need any knitting tuition. There is always stuff that you pick up when you mix with like-minded people. When you're mixing with other crafters, you always pick up hints and tips. I didn't go as for the class, I went just to mix with other people because I'm not getting out very much these days. So I did actually buy another cable, the 50cm cable. I've bought the shorter one, but I thought, you know what? I'll keep that if I try a hat. And I'll just keep the jumper on these long ones for now, because I will need the longer ones pretty soon. I could maybe do my fronts on the shorter ones, couldn't I? So that is how that's looking just now. Not very much done to it, but it's quite easy to knit on in an evening as you're watching the TV. Just pop this out the way. And that is all I have to show you in the knitting section this time. So let's move on to the crochet section. And again, I've got a finished object to show you. Feeling rather chuffed about that. Let me show you my finished object. I'm going to try and get it to the right bit. Hold on, need to twist it round. There we go. My, it's huge. Maybe I should stand up. And that's us back to the start. So this is the Just Feel Festive shawl by Quirky Monday Makes, and I'll link that below. And I have made this using the Beehive Yarns Halloween Countdown box from last year, which was a Wednesday themed box. So I only had 13 mini skeins, and this shawl pattern is actually designed for 24 mini skeins. 24 20-gram mini skeins. So I only had 13, so I have only got half the stitches that you're supposed to have on it. And I just kept working each mini skein till it ran out. And I did start on the black. It was that way actually I went. It was the black first. So this is the first one, and the purple was the last one. That was skein number 13, because there was 13 mini skeins in this box. Now the next project that I show you, I was learning how to do the continuous join as you go with granny squares. So when I got to the end of this, I just joined it, and I just kind of made it up as I was going. Because I'd been learning how to do it for the granny squares, I thought, come on, you must be able to try and do a continuous join as you go for this. So I did. That's what I did. I just joined it together, and I've got this huge big cowl. Right, I'm going to try and show you on, okay? Now, if I wrap this around twice, there we go. That's a nice size, isn't it? Wrapping it around twice. Now, see if I pull it out, you could actually get it wrapped around a third time. I don't want to do that. I'll get it covered in makeup. But you could if you wanted, or you could have that wee bit up there closer to your neck. You could have this bit hanging down. The other way I thought that I could wear it is if you just want to use it like a little scarf. You could just have it round here. You could just wear it like that, couldn't you? And that'll keep you nice and cosy underneath your jacket. I don't tend to wear a lot of scarves or cowls because I don't know if it's my asthma, but I just feel like if I've got everything tight around my neck like that, I feel like I can't breathe properly. I feel too enclosed in. And even when I do go out in the middle of winter, when it's really cold here, cold and wet and windy, because we get a lot of that in the west coast of Scotland, I feel like I'm lucky if I'm out 10 minutes and the scarf's off and it's in my bag, the hat's off in my bag, same with gloves as well. And I tend to then walk about with my knitwear all in my bag rather than wearing it because I'm just too warm. But I thought if I could even open that up like that, it lets my neck breathe a wee bit because I just don't like everything being enclosed around my neck. But I think it's long enough that I can do that with it, or I can wrap it round once or twice. I'm really, really pleased with how it came out. I love those colours. There was only one wee change that I made to the pattern, apart from decreasing the number of stitches. The only other thing I changed to it was at the very end of the row, there was a chain free at the end of the row to finish the row, and I did a treble cluster, let me get this right. What did I do? It was 3 trebles together, but I decreased. So rather than ending up with 3 trebles together, it was a treble 3, but it was decreased. You leave that last stage of the treble and then you work them all together at the end. So it's a decreasing 3 cluster treble. Me and my words, I'll tell you. But I'm really pleased with it. And the join isn't great. show you that again. I'll show you that side again. The join isn't great. I think you can see there's a tiny wee bump here. But I did join it after I blocked it. And there's a tiny wee bump at that side. But I think if I pinned it back out and gave it another wee block, because I haven't steam blocked that wee join, I've just left it. But I just left it to show you today because I just finished it this morning. But I think I could tidy up. It's a tiny wee bump and you're never going to notice it when it's been worn. But just in case you see it, I'm pointing it out. I know it's not perfect, that wee bit. But as I say, I just made it up as I was going. I thought, come on, you must be able to join these together. You've done it with granny squares. You can try it on here. So that is the Just Feel Festive shawl. I've actually created a Ravelry project page for this and I need to update my details, but I think I called it Just Feel Spooky Shawl because it was Halloween themed. And I wasn't sure whether this was to go to my daughter or whether I was going to keep it for myself. I might keep it for myself and see if I wear it, because she's got plenty of cowls and things that I've made for her. I might try and wear this one. If I get to this time next year and it's still in the wardrobe, I'll rethink it then. But I do like it. I love all the colours, so maybe keep this one for myself. We're actually finally coming into spring here. It's been so nice just even the past week. I think we've had at least 3 or 4 days with sunshine. It's amazing, actually. We don't get a lot of sunshine here, so you've got to enjoy it while it lasts. I feel like living in the west coast of Scotland, we get a lot of the rain over this side. We get a lot more rain than the east coast gets. So if it's a nice day, you've got to make the most of it. And just before I finish up that shawl, it was the 5.5mm tulip Etimo hook that I used. I had to come up a needle size for it. I just felt coming up that size gave me a nicer gauge on my shawl. And the only thing I've got left from that Halloween countdown box is the full skein of yarn that came for Halloween. And this is the Nevermore Academy colourway, is that right? Sorry, Nevermore Academy Gates from Wednesday. But that can be used for socks or something else. It's a full 100g skein and I'm sure I'll use that up. I just didn't need it for that wrap, so there was no point in using it when I didn't need it, or even breaking it open for 20g. There was enough there in the mini skeins to make that big kill. Right, pop this out. Oh, it was in my Wednesday themed bag. I'll keep my sock yarn in there till I think of what to do with that. So the other crochet project that I've got to show you, you've seen this one before. I've made a wee bit of progress on it, but I think I'm going to frog it. So this is how it's looking so far. Now, I have been using the continuous join as you go method by, is it Hooked by Robin? Is that right? And I love the method. I love this, how you join them as you go. And you've only got one wee tail here from the grey down at the start. And then when you work your way back round, you'll have that's where you finish the grey as well. So you'll have 2 ends for the grey and that is it. No sewing, no anything like that. Just join them together with crochet. Love it. You can feel it coming on, can't you? There's a bit. That's the width. And I need one more row on this side here. And that's the width that I need. Okay, that was the width that I'd planned. But I need a wee bit more length. So I need to add the length down this side here. And I'm not sure how to do that. Because the tutorial, you're working from the bottom up. So I left it at this point and I went to my bed last night. And I've made all the other wee granny squares. I just have to weave in the ends on these. Sorry, not that one. These ones here. Weave in the ends and then join them along the top and then figure out how to add another 7 down the side. And I've been trying to weave in all the ends as I go as well. The only wee ends that are on the back is, see the very outer ring of the granny square. I haven't woven that in before I joined it. I thought it would be easier to weave in when I could weave in through the grey once I was finished and had them joined together. I'm quite proud of that I've been weaving in as I go. It's a little thing sometimes. But I have to figure out how to join down that side here. So I add along the top and then I have to add some down this side. And I'm not sure how to do that because when you join your corners here, there's a particular way you do it. And I thought, right, I'm going to have to figure out how to do that rather than going from bottom to top, how to do it side by side and make sure they all look the same. And then there's that wee niggly part in the back of your head that tells you just to rip all the grey out, because see these ones here? I don't like those. And I don't like those. So when I started to think, you know, you could just frog it. I've enjoyed doing this grey bit. Just frog it and start again rather than trying to figure it out. There's that wee bit in the back of my head going, yeah, and take out those squares that you don't like. Those two there as well. And I think the problem has come because I'm using 5 different colours and I'm only doing 4 round granny squares. These ones here don't have any of that lightest colour in them. And to me, it's really, really noticeable. Now, I wasn't going to frog it. I wasn't going to rip it out just because I didn't like those granny squares. I thought they can stay in the back, and when it comes to doing the fronts, I could maybe miss them out in the front. But now that it's in my head, you could just frog it and start again from the bottom and make sure you've got the right width, make sure you've got the right height, rather than trying to add down the sides. That wee part's going, yeah, just rip it out. Get rid of those squares here that you don't like. But, golly, I keep catching my hair. But rather than do that, I've actually measured this, how it's going to look on me from side to side. And I don't think when I put that extra row along the top and the extra row down the side, it's not baggy and oversized enough. Even though I'm adding on an extra row in the length, I still think I want it a wee bit longer and a wee bit wider. Because remember, it's got to get under here, and one more row, it's just going to fit nicely. Even though I did a gauge swatch, I crocheted my gauge swatches, and I have actually come up from a 3.75mm hook to a 5mm hook to do this. I still think my squares are ever so slightly small. They are supposed to be, what are they supposed to be? I think it's 4.25 inches across with the 5 rounds on, and I'm only getting 4 inches. So I'm still a wee bit under. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to take all the grey out, I'm going to rip it out, I'm going to frog it, and I'm going to add an extra round onto all of these granny squares here. I'm going to make them the 5 rounds. And see those ones here that I don't like, they're going to have a light colour in them anyway. Because I feel my eye goes to them because there's not any light colour in them. So I think that's what I'm going to do. That'll give me a wee bit extra on the length as well. It's also going to give me a bit extra on the width because I really want it to be big and baggy and oversized. So that's what I'm going to do with that. And I did try this morning doing a 5 round one to see if that's one of the ones that's in here. Let me see if I can find it. That one there. That one there. That's got no light colour on it. I did put 5 rounds onto one, and I think it'll make a difference. So that will save me trying to work out how to join them down the sides, because the thing is, you could do it. You could do it, even if it took a couple of times just joining those onto the sides. You would figure out how to join your corners, and it would all look the same. Because you're not going from top to bottom, I'd be adding to the side. And I could figure it out, but there was that wee niggle in my head going, yeah, just frog it. You don't like those squares anyway, just rip it all out. Get rid of those. So the next time you see it, this will be 5 round granny squares rather than the 4 round. And I think I'll be a lot happier with my squares. Just the way the colours are. I think having one of each colour in each square is going to work better for me. And I think just having that wee bit extra height and width as well will be good too. So it just goes to show, even though you swatch, and I mean, I did 3 swatches and kept coming up a hook size, I thought I was okay. The pattern says 375. I started on the 4 because I knew it would be tight. I had to come up to a 4.5 and then I had to come up to the 5. So maybe I should have come up again to the 5.5. The same as what I made my Just Feel Festive shawl with, because it's all DK weight yarn. And this yarn that I'm using is the West Yorkshire Spinners Colour Lab DK. And I've got 5 different colours that I'm using. Can I show you them all? There's my 5 colours here. So I have got Very Berry. This one here is Very Berry. That's Perfectly Plum. Thistle Purple. Cerise Pink. and is this one, Candy Pink. And then my grey colour is Storm Grey. Yeah, Stormy Grey, that one is. And it's all living in my wee pink wire basket. Oh, got a wee thread hanging. I think I got this in Dunhill Mill a couple of years ago, and it's had whips stored in it. It's been sitting in my room with whips in, but I've cleaned it out for this project. That is all the crochet that I have to show you today. So the next thing to share with you is just a wee bit about the knitting designs that I've been working on. This sock here, this is my unicorn tails sock pattern, and it was just leftovers from the first 5 socks. And that's in testing just now. I've actually got 5 new test knitters that I've never tested for me before doing this sock. They're not the only ones doing it, but it's just nice to have some new testers. So that's in testing just now. It started on Monday there on the 29th of April. So that's a 2-week test. And when this one's finished, I would like to do... Oh, here it is. I would like to do the green apple ones, but do them cuff down. So I'm looking for testers. I'm going to pop a little link to the test form in the box below. I will try and share the link on social media as well. Sometimes I forget for a few days and I'm a wee bit delayed getting it on there, but I will. So it's basically this sock here, but rather than being toe up, it's going to be cuff down. I've got the pattern all ready for the testers, and I've also got another ball of yarn. I'm going to try it as well. I'm not going to do a pair of each, but I will do one of each, because if I've got one of each sock, I can give them to my daughter. She likes odd socks, and I'm sure she'll wear them over the winter months, just keeping her feet nice and cosy. So green apple, cuff down, test knit is going to be starting on the 13th of May. 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks away. As soon as this one finishes, I'm going to start the cuff down one of this. So if you want to do that one, let me know. Fill in the wee test link form below. Click on the link below and fill in that test knit form. It'll be a 2-week test knit, and it's about 4 hours it takes to knit a double knitting weight sock, a shorty sock. You could do your leg longer if you wanted, if you've got enough yarn. That is up to you. Okay? And that link is below. And then the only other one is this one here, the Scrappy Patchwork Sock. So that one, I will be launching a test knit for this on the 27th of May, but I'll talk about that again in the next episode. Again, just leftovers. I feel sometimes like my leftovers multiply in the box, but we'll talk about that one again in the next episode. And the only other sock that I've worked on is this one here. This is supposed to be for my next collection, which is the Coorie Collection 2. And I did buy the 10 balls of yarn, 2 of each colour, 5 different colours, to do more stitch patterns, more textures on shorty socks. But you know what? I think what I'm going to do, I might put this on a back burner just now, and we'll concentrate on those cuff down versions, because it might be quite difficult to do 2 different patterns at the one time for testing. Or maybe I could do a fortnight test knit for one and then a fortnight test knit for this one. Keep it interesting. Keep me on my toes, won't it? That's all the knitting design stuff that I have to show you today. And you'll probably see those socks again in the next episode. So the only other thing to show you is some acquisitions. I went to the Woolly Good Gathering in Edinburgh last Friday. It was the 26th and the 27th of April. And it was in Summerhall in Edinburgh. Now, it was a really good venue. I really enjoyed it. Now, I was in and out of there in 30 minutes. I get there when the doors open, and I'm one of the first ones in the hall. And I get what I want, and then I leave. And I know it's maybe silly to say that, well, it was a really good venue and I really enjoyed it when you're in and out in 30 minutes, but I did, okay? I picked up this programme when I was standing in the queue, when I was waiting for the doors to open, and there was actually maps inside it told you where all the vendors were, because there were 3 different locations within the building that the yarn festival was being held, and I knew who I wanted to see and who were on my list, and they were actually all in the same hall. They were all in the upper hall, and I went straight to those stalls that I wanted to see. And do you know what? I think I was the second person in that hall. So let me show you what I bought when I went there. I did go with a budget. I had in mind a budget because I don't really need a lot of yarn, let's be honest. I've got a room full of yarn here. But I did have 3 stalls that I wanted to go and see. And the first one that I wanted to go to was the Zakami. I think that's how you pronounce it, Zakami stall. They are an Edinburgh-based yarn dyer, and I've never bought any yarn from them. But I was going to their stall because I wanted to see the stitch markers. Bobbles and Berries was... She had prepared some stitch markers. It's little embroidered stitch markers. And she had prepared them for this event, and they were going to be on the Zakami stall. But that's one of the problems with getting there really, really early. Sometimes the stuff's not there. And she didn't have the stitch markers yet. I guess she was waiting for Bobbles and Berries to get into the yarn festival and bring the stitch markers to put on her stall. One of the problems, as I say, arriving too early. But I did see this on the Zakami stall. It was actually in the sale bin. And it's Suri alpaca. And I don't have a lot of Suri alpaca. And I thought, right, okay. It wasn't on my list of things to buy, but I'm going to justify this one. And it's called Pink Cadillac. And I just thought that was a lovely soft shade of pink. Really pleased with that, actually. It's really soft. I think I've got 2 skeins of Suri alpaca, and they're both undyed, so it's nice to have a dyed version, and even though it is very, very subtle. The next stall I wanted to go to was For the Love of Yarn. That's the dyer who dyed the Brew colourway and the Tunnocks colourway, because I saw on social media that she had a new colourway called Caramel Wavers. Yeah, do you know what? I don't even think I've got any caramel wavers to show you. I'm going to have to buy caramel wavers and tea cakes for next episode and try not to eat them all. So this is the Caramel Weaver colourway. And I had to buy it because it's like part of a trilogy now, isn't it? You've got to complete the set of 3. Got to have all of them in the collection. Again, these are going to be socks for my husband. He's got the Brew ones just now. I'm knitting the Tunnocks ones for him, and the Caramel Waver will be for him too. And the other stall that I wanted to go to, now who was it? Beyond Measure, I think it was called. They were going to be selling some yarn by Woolen Flower. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. And I saw that they had some, it was Suri alpaca again. But when I went to that stall, they didn't have any of that yarn dyer's wool out. I guess, again, like the stitch markers, they were waiting for the wool to arrive. The people must be bringing it with them when they attend a yarn festival and dropping it off with the stall holders. So I didn't get that. And that was Suri alpaca that I did go to buy. Didn't get it, but I did get one from Zakami. And the last stall that I wanted to see was Anfield Farm, and I bought this. Now this is it's mohair. It's 4-ply mohair, and they're actually from Shetland, and it's 70% mohair, and it's the goats from their own farm. It's 70% mohair and 30% Shetland wool, and it's quite soft actually. Considering it's a Shetland wool, it's really, really soft. And they actually had a couple of garments knitted up. There was the one that I felt was a hat knitted up with this 4-ply yarn, and it was just so lovely and soft once it was knitted. It's really, really nice. So I got that to try. This colourway is Smoked Salmon. So that's the Smoked Salmon colourway, and that is all I bought when I went there. That was it. 3 skeins of yarn. I actually came out under budget, and I was really pleased with that. It was such a lovely day last Friday in Edinburgh. They couldn't have had a better day. And it worked out really, really well, because I was going to go to this yarn festival on my own. The colours actually go really well together, don't they? Part of a set almost. And It worked out really, really well because I was going to this festival and I'd booked my ticket a couple of months ago, and then my husband told me he was taking his car for a service and he has to go over to Edinburgh with his car to get it serviced. And I thought, you've got to be there for 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to Edinburgh anyway. Do you want to make a day of it? So we did, and it was just lovely. So he dropped me off at the tram stop at the park and ride. I got the tram into Edinburgh. He went away and got his car serviced. I had a lovely wander about, just had coffee in the Royal Mile, and it was just really, really nice. Went into my yarn festival, met up with him later on once his car had been serviced and he made it into the city, and then we went for lunch and did a wee bit of shopping. But that was my yarny purchases. And it was just such a lovely day, and the weather was glorious as well. And the only other acquisition I've got to show you is a book. I saw this on social media, it cropped up. I think it was Amazon, it was an Amazon advert, and I just love it. The Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm going to show you a couple of things that's in it. Just let me make sure I'm not showing you any patterns. Oop. An Oogie Boogie toy. You can do that with glow-in-the-dark yarn. That would be really nice. See if I put that over there. I'll not get into bother, will I? Look at the jumper. That's not the best bits. I should probably put a wee marker on. Or you can do a Jack Skellington. There's also a Santa Jack as well. He's there. It's just the same toy, you can just make different clothes for him. This is what I wanted to show you. This is what I really liked. The Sally shawl. Isn't that beautiful? And there's also Sally fingerless mittens and Sally socks. Let me see if I can find these socks, because the socks are stunning. There we go. Look at those socks. They're just like her dress, aren't they? You can probably guess why I bought this book. My daughter, she loves this movie, and I think everything in this book I could make and give it to her. There's a big throw pattern as well. So many nice things in here. There was another lovely jumper. There it's there. Look at the colour work on that. It's so pretty, isn't it? I suppose if Halloween's not your thing, it's not really something that you'll be interested in. But one of the other things that I keep getting shown in the past couple of weeks is yarn dyers advertising Halloween yarns, because we are halfway to Halloween. Well, we were at the end of April. So because I kept seeing that, I thought, do you know what? I'm going to go look at those Halloween quilts that I haven't finished. So I've started hand stitching down the binding, just sitting for an hour a day. There's no point me showing you. You've seen the quilts before, and it's just the binding to be stitched down. But if we're halfway to Halloween, that's a good time to look at those quilts, isn't it? And just sitting working on those quilts, hand stitching down the binding. And I've got another Halloween quilt that I do need to layer up and quilt. I think I'm going to get those finished. Watching Stitches and Jack, if you watch her latest 2 episodes, she was at a quilt show, and one of the videos was her going about the quilt show, and then the other video was her haul, what she bought when she was at the quilt show. Just watching Karen's videos has really put me in a notion to sew again, to be honest. So I think I'm going to do my Halloween quilts first, because we're halfway to Halloween. We can thank social media for that. And then I'm going to look at something else, get my sewing machine dusted off and make sure that it still works. So that is all that I have to share with you today. And I don't really think there's anything else I have to tell you, apart from being at the yarn festival. And life's been really quiet, to be honest. I've been going to my wee knitting classes. I've been doing that on a Wednesday night. And I jumped on the bandwagon that everybody's been on, and I'm reading Frida McFadden. I've just finished The Housemaid. I loved that book. That was really good. I actually finished it on Thursday night, and when we were in Edinburgh, I managed to get the next one in the works. I've got The Housemaid's Secret to start. I do really like a psychological thriller. I like those as TV programmes as well. So you've probably all read that book already, because I think every podcaster is reading Frida McFadden, thanks to the Crazy Sock Lady. I'm probably the last one to be reading the books. And apart from that, life is really, really quiet. So that is it for today. And I'm going to go frog that crochet cardigan. I'm actually really looking forward to starting to frog it and just adding that wee extra round on and see if I like the squares better. So hopefully you'll see that next time. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening to me rabbiting on, and I will see you all in a couple of weeks' time. Okay? Bye!